It all starts with a story that motivates someone to take action. We are traveling the country, stepping into the heart of nonprofit organizations to discover how they're using storytelling to better connect with their donors, their communities, and have a greater impact. Nonprofits make America great. People helping people. One act of kindness, one small triumph, one story at a time. In today's episode, we're in Chatsworth, California.
So what can I tell you about comedy?
First off,
Okay.
I want to say how excited I am that you're coming to the conference.
I can tell you how excited I am, but are we driving in this van?
No, we won't.
In this VW bus?
What I love about it, though, the fact that you're coming, is a lot of people, at least I have heard this, say comedy does not belong in fundraising.
Well, wasn't there a guy who literally said to you when you said, oh, Steve Kaplan's coming? He says, no, that's a bad idea. That never works.
Right, that doesn't work. Comedy does not work in fundraising.
Well, I think that's because people confuse funny with comedy.
Mm-hmm.
They've tried being funny. They've tried putting jokes into their keynote speeches, into their direct mailing, and it hasn't worked. But there's a difference between funny and comic. Funny is whatever makes you laugh. I mean, if you're laughing at it, to you, it's funny, period, end of argument. But on the other hand, if you're not laughing at it, to you it's not funny. You might be upset or even offended by it. When we talk about comedy, what we're not talking about is doing something funny jokes. What we're talking about is showing people the way they are and telling the truth about them. So for instance, you were talking a little bit before about a film festival.
Yes.
And the film festival was trying to figure out a way to have comedy in their annual appeal.
With their bequests.
In their bequests, right.
About death, and it's a hard subject too.
And one of the ideas that they were thinking of was, maybe they could show the director and the development director arguing about it in the office. And my suggestion would be, if you're a film festival, well, make a 5-minute film about it, kind of parodying European art films in which your development director is death, like in The Seventh Seal, and you're playing chess with death, and maybe death is saying, if you lose the game, you leave something to us for the Houston Film Festival, so that there's always a way to find some humor, some sense of comedy in what you're doing, in what your appeal is.
It's really about acknowledging the elephant that's in the room.
Telling the truth about yourself, so that if you're doing a keynote speech, and rather than coming up and starting with some joke that somebody told you, or you found on the internet, or somebody sent to you in an email, something that is not organic, something that is inauthentic, you just start off with something that is true to you. I'm the guy who's keeping between you and the cash bar at the end of it. Something that is an acknowledgement of who you are and where you are. I mean, that's the art of stand-up comedy. A stand-up comic comes in a room. He has nothing but a microphone and his own imagination and his own faculties for observation. And all he's doing is he's paying attention to what's in front of him. What's in front of him in his life, what's in front of him in the room, and he comments on it, and he talks about it, and he asks questions about it. And that's comedy, and you're coming to a dead end here.
Well, that's comedy.
That is a metaphor.
How appropriate! Oh my gosh!
That is a wonderful, terrible metaphor.
That is a horrible metaphor. I hope this isn't...
Wait a second, I'm going to... What? I'm spritzing.
Yeah, I hope this isn't flop sweat. One of the things I loved about your book was how you described character in the book. And a comedic character is really just a character with a certain set of skills
or lack of skills.
Put into a situation where they don't actually have skills.
Right. Which is, if you think about it, that's a paradigm, a metaphor for all of us.
Yep.
I mean, we're all put here on this, spinning blue cinder, hurtling through space. We're not omniscient, we're not omnipotent, and we're trying to make the best of it. And so, the best comic characters are characters that reflect that, that try to achieve, try to do something, even though they don't have all the skills and tools required to win. I mean, one of the things we talk about, that's what we call a non-hero. And one of the things we talk about is a hero is somebody who has all the skills. For instance, you put Charles Bronson or Arnold Schwarzenegger in a room with 12 guys with guns. Who wins? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Charles Bronson, because they have all the skills. They're the best fighters, they're the best tacticians, they can withstand pain. But you put Woody Allen in a room with 12 guys with guns, and if I just mentioned that situation, a lot of people would laugh.
I'm already smiling. I've even heard it before.
Because why? Because there's not a joke there, there's no funny writing, but it's simply an ineffectual character in an impossible situation trying to do their best. So the formula is an ordinary or less than ordinary guy or gal, Jackie Gleason used to call him a moke, struggling against insurmountable odds without many of the required skills and tools with which to win, yet never giving up hope. And there are some topics that are not conducive to comedy, because comedy is the art of hope. So if you're talking about people in a hopeless situation, there's no point in trying to make a joke about them. I mean, nobody should be laughing at people who are made homeless by a hurricane. So it's not about putting humor into situations that don't call for it. But short of tragic situations, we're all alive on this planet with whatever skills or lack of skills that we have, trying to get by. And in all of it, there's opportunity for humor, opportunity for comedy. The quickest way to somebody's heart is to make them laugh.
I like that quote.
I just made that up, and I'm gonna try it on my wife and see if it works.
And we're at the dead end again. Look at that. So if somebody were to think, well, my executive director has to give a speech next week, or I'm writing a newsletter and I'm thinking I want a little levity, is there anything that you can point out, just kind of in general, comedic terms, of what to look for? What would you look for?
I would avoid jokes. Avoid jokes, because as we said, there's a difference between funny and comic. Funny is subjective. Some people will laugh at it and some people won't. But if you simply are human, self-deprecating, perhaps, acknowledging the situation, acknowledging yourself in that situation, and with a little bit of just a little bit of wit and grace, that goes a long way. For instance, if your chairman is giving a speech, rather than writing a joke for the chairman to talk about, the chairman could talk about how everybody wanted to write him a joke. But he wasn't very good at jokes. But here's what he's good at. he's good at taking people to lunch and making them write big checks. So,
There you go.
So rather than trying to impress somebody with an inauthentic sense of humor, impress them with your authenticity. Tell them the truth. The truth is 9 times out of 10 as funny as anything else you can come up with. Tell them the truth.
Well, Steve, I really appreciate you in coming out today on a very hot day.
Well, thank you, because it's been a long time since I've been in a VW bus, and it's been a long time since I've been in a VW bus as hot as this VW bus.
Well, I saw the temperature. It's 107 degrees out.
It is.
And it's hotter inside the bus. But I actually have a very, very serious question.
Okay.
I don't know Chadsworth, where we're
Okay.
driving around. We've
Yeah.
been going down this road, that road, and
Yeah.
honestly, I have no idea how to get you back home.
You make a right here. One of the things about this complex, Rock Point, where we are, is that there's a lot of dead ends.
We noticed that.
Which you found. You found almost every dead end.